When Demon Wilson was first asked whether he would consider doing a television series with Red Fox, his reaction was disbelief rather than excitement. At the time, Foxx was best known for his raw nightclub comedy, and the idea that mainstream television would embrace him seemed far-fetched. Wilson later recalled thinking it sounded almost absurd, yet that unlikely pairing became one of the most iconic duos in television history. What began as skepticism turned into Sanford and Son, a show that redefined sitcom storytelling and broke cultural ground. Years later, however, when Red Fox passed away, fans noticed something unsettling. Wilson was absent from the funeral. That absence fueled decades of speculation. People assumed anger, betrayal, or unresolved bitterness. But the truth, when examined carefully, is far more layered. It is not a story of simple hatred, but of wounded pride, unmet expectations, and two men shaped by very different understandings of loyalty and survival. A sitcom that changed television. When Sanford and Son premiered on NBC in 1972, it wasn't just another comedy entering the lineup. It introduced American audiences to a black father and son relationship that felt honest, flawed, and deeply human. Red Fox's Fred Sanford was loud, manipulative, and endlessly entertaining, while Demon Wilson's Lamont was patient, thoughtful, and quietly moral. Their contrast created humor, but also emotional grounding. The show's success was immediate, becoming one of NBC's highest-rated programs. Viewers were drawn not only to the jokes, but to the authenticity of the relationship. Behind the scenes, however, the partnership was still forming. Foxx was a seasoned performer with decades of experience, while Wilson was still building his footing in Hollywood. Early on, Foxx acted as a mentor, advocating for Wilson and guiding him through the pressures of sudden fame. For a time, their bond mirrored the warmth audiences saw on screen. Early loyalty and growing expectations. In the beginning, Red Fox genuinely championed Demon Wilson. He pushed for his visibility on the show and treated him like a younger brother learning the business. Wilson respected Foxx deeply, recognizing that the show existed largely because of Foxx's reputation and risk-taking. That dynamic created an unspoken expectation of loyalty. Foxx valued allegiance above all else, especially in an industry where he felt frequently marginalized. Wilson, on the other hand, valued stability and professionalism, traits shaped by his upbringing and later reinforced by his military service. As the show grew more successful, these differences remained subtle but important. Each man believed he was doing the right thing, yet their definitions of support slowly drifted apart. What once felt like mentorship gradually became pressure, as Foxx expected Wilson to align fully with his battles, while Wilson believed his responsibility was to the work itself and the people depending on him. The walkout that changed everything. By 1974, Sanford and Son was a massive hit, but tensions behind the scenes were rising. Red Fox felt deeply undervalued by NBC, particularly when comparing his compensation and treatment to white stars with similar ratings. His frustration went beyond money. It touched on dignity and respect. When negotiations failed, Fox walked off the set, forcing NBC to suspend him and temporarily write Fred Sanford out of the show. The move shocked the industry. During Fox's absence, Wilson was thrust into an impossible position. He became the show's central figure overnight, carrying episodes while uncertainty loomed. Publicly, Wilson spoke respectfully about Fox and expressed hope for his return. Privately, the strain was immense. Fox expected Wilson to refuse to continue without him, seeing solidarity as a moral obligation. Wilson, bound by contract and career realities, chose to keep working. That decision quietly fractured their relationship. Two perspectives, one growing rift. From Red Fox's perspective, Demon Wilson's decision to stay felt like abandonment. Foxx believed loyalty meant sacrifice, especially when fighting for fairness in an unequal system. He felt he had opened doors for Wilson and now stood alone. Wilson, however, saw the situation differently. He was still early in his career, supporting a family and navigating an industry known for replacing people without hesitation. Refusing to work could have ended his future entirely. He also struggled with how Foxx's abrupt departure left him exposed to criticism and pressure he never asked for. Neither man was entirely wrong, yet neither fully understood the other's fears. When Foxx eventually returned after securing a better contract, the show regained its rhythm. But the personal bond did not. Trust had been damaged, and unspoken resentment lingered beneath every scene, even as their performances remained flawless. Success, silence, and unequal rewards. After Foxx's return, another quiet tension took hold: compensation and recognition. Foxx's new deal made him one of television's highest-paid actors, while Wilson remained under his original contract, despite having carried the show during Foxx's absence. Wilson felt overlooked, his contributions minimized. From his view, fairness had not extended to him. Foxx, meanwhile, believed he had earned his leverage through decades of struggle and sacrifice. He did not see it as his responsibility to fight Wilson's battles. This difference in perspective deepened their emotional distance. Conversations became brief, interactions strictly professional. The warmth that once existed vanished, replaced by formality. Cast and crew sensed the change, often describing a tense atmosphere on set. Yet both men remained consummate professionals, delivering performances that never betrayed the strain behind the scenes. The audience laughed, unaware that the partnership at the heart of the show was quietly dissolving. The end of the show and the end of the bond. When Sanford and Son ended in 1977, it marked more than the conclusion of a beloved sitcom. It marked the final chapter of Foxx and Wilson's relationship. Once filming stopped, so did communication. Foxx returned to stand-up and new projects, never inviting Wilson into his post-sitcom ventures. Wilson, disillusioned with Hollywood, began stepping away from the industry altogether. The silence between them grew permanent. There were no reconciliations, no private apologies, no shared reflections on what they had built together. What had begun as mutual respect ended in emotional distance. Neither man publicly attacked the other, but neither made an effort to heal the divide. The partnership that had brought joy to millions faded into history, unresolved, leaving fans to wonder how something so powerful on screen could end so quietly off it. Faith, distance, and different paths. As the years passed, Demon Wilson underwent a profound spiritual transformation. He turned toward faith, becoming an ordained minister and distancing himself from the entertainment world. He spoke openly about his discomfort with Hollywood's values and made it clear he was not interested in revisiting past conflicts. Red Foxx, meanwhile, continued working, eventually starring in The Royal Family before his sudden death in 1991. When Foxx passed away, Wilson did not attend the funeral. Years later, he explained simply that they were not speaking at the time. There was no dramatic explanation, only quiet finality. For Wilson, the relationship had ended long before death made it official. His absence was not meant as punishment, but as an acknowledgement of a bond that no longer existed. It was a deeply personal decision shaped by years of unresolved hurt and emotional distance. A legacy bigger than the feud. Today, the story of Red Foxx and Demon Wilson is often framed as a feud, but that label oversimplifies a complex human reality. Their conflict was not rooted in hatred, but in mismatched expectations, wounded pride, and an industry that thrives on pressure. Together, they created something extraordinary, a show that still resonates across generations. Apart, they carried unresolved pain that neither fully addressed. The absence of reconciliation remains heartbreaking, yet it does not erase their achievement. Sanford and Son stands as proof that even imperfect relationships can produce lasting art. Sometimes history is shaped not by happy endings, but by unfinished conversations. What remains is the laughter, the cultural impact, and a reminder that behind every iconic partnership are two human beings, each carrying their own truth, their own scars, and their own way of surviving the spotlight.